And I'm live! Hey guys, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Another live video, and it's Friday, another week is ending, and I'm so happy to be here. So if you are watching the replay, thank you very much. I hope these mistakes can help you, and the advice I give you can help you. And if you are watching live, thanks for joining. And I see some people have joined already. Tell me who you are. Say hi. I would love to hear from you. Where are you from? How are you guys all doing tonight? Hi, Mauricio. Hi, Thiago. How are you guys doing tonight? Are you all good? I need to share this link. Let's see. How do I do that? I see more people are joining. Hello. Come say hi to me. Hi guys. Hi Shadi. How are you doing? Hi Wilson. Valentina, how are you? Faisal, how are you? Hello Fabio, how are you doing? Antonio, thanks for joining. Jessica from Brazil, how are you? I don't know, Hollingston from Canada. That's great. I'm doing very well today. Thank you for asking. Condos is saying good morning because for him it's good morning. For us it's late. It's night already. It's evening. Oh, thanks Fabio. I'm glad you like the videos. I feel very happy to know that whenever people tell me they like the videos, I feel super excited. That's great. Hi Davi, how are you? My uncle. I'm gonna share this video on Facebook. I always forget how to do it, and many times I forget to do it actually. Awesome. Let's see. The page I manage. I'm sharing the video on my Facebook page. There we go. I'm live. Hi Osmani. Hi Zuhair. I don't know how to say your name. Well, I see so many people are coming from different places. This is so great. I love to see that. I always check my YouTube reports to see where you guys are from, and I feel so grateful to see that I'm helping so many people from all over the world. All right. Hello, Alessandro. I am doing very well. Thank you for asking. How about you? Are you guys okay? Great. So before I start the video, okay, I have two messages to give you guys. Oh, Akash, I reply many comments every day, so it's hard for me to remember all comments, but I have all the messages. I check them out, I check all of them, but it takes me a little time, okay? Hi, Antonio, you are from Santa Catarina, that's great. So before I start talking about the lesson of today, I need to tell you that for the next 3 weeks, I will not make live videos. All right, so this is the last live video, and then I will come back on the first week of October, okay? So next week and the 2 following weeks, I won't be making a live video, but I will return in October, all right? On the first Friday of October. Let's see, which is October 6th. So I will be returning with the live videos on that day, okay? Why am I doing this? Because it's my vacation. Yes, I'll be traveling. So I'll be taking some time off. I will post videos during the week, okay? I already scheduled the videos, but the live video I will not be making, okay? But if you have Instagram, follow me on Instagram. I might post some pictures of my vacation, of the places I go to. So you can always follow me on Instagram. I also post some tips, general tips, quizzes, vocabulary posts. Yes, Wilson, today is the last one, and then I return in October. But the videos, the weekly videos will continue, okay? You will have videos during the week. Don't worry about that. And I might post some things about my vacation on my Instagram, all right? Wow, so Antonio is from Pindamonhangaba, okay? Cool. Flavio's from São Paulo, thanks for joining. Good. So, guys, today I'm checking my computer because that's where I leave my notes. so that I organize myself during the video so that I don't forget anything important, but I made this during the week. So I believe this will help you guys tremendously, okay? So let's get started. These are 3 common mistakes. Fabio is saying you don't understand anything I say. Oh my goodness. You can check. Fabio is probably a beginner and he doesn't understand me. So what you can do, Fabio, is to watch my basic videos, okay? I have a basic playlist for basic students. And I'm getting a lot of feedback from beginners who are really enjoying this playlist, this guide. So I think you should start there too, but stay in the video, enjoy. Okay? So as I was saying, these are very common mistakes. I'm going to be talking about 3 common mistakes students make when they are working on their listening skills, when you are practicing to improve your listening. Okay, so the idea here is to show you 3 mistakes you probably make and how you can try to stop making these mistakes. Okay, how you can work more effectively to further develop your listening skills. Okay, and I believe that it's very common for many of you to have problems to understand audios, to understand native speakers, and there are things you can fix when you are studying, when you are listening to exercises to practice, okay? Is it difficult for you? How would you rate your listening skills? Do you think your listening skills are good? Do you need to improve them? Tell me, let me know here in the chat, okay? Very well. So, I saw some comments. Sometimes I miss some of your comments here in the chat because they pop up very quickly and I don't know how to make them pop back up. But I'm always reading the comments, okay? So the first mistake many of you guys make when you are listening to audios in English is to translate. Exactly. And what happens? You put an audio, okay, you play an audio in English or a podcast or a movie or a short video. And when you are listening, while you are listening to the audio, you start to translate the sentences. You mentally translate sentences. I will be making a video just to talk about mental translation and thinking in English. Stay tuned. A lot of stuff's coming, okay? So what is the problem with this? If you are listening to an audio and at the same time trying to translate simultaneously the audio you were listening to, you are dedicating too much energy, too much of your attention to the translation. Consequently, understanding what you listen gets more difficult because you are dividing your attention to 2 different activities. You are trying to listen and you're trying to translate at the same time, okay? And if you think about it, translating at the same time you are listening to something is difficult. And that's the process that is happening in your mind. You are listening and trying to translate, okay? And what happens when the audio is over? When the audio is over, you feel frustrated. You feel upset. You have a feeling that you couldn't understand the sentences. You couldn't understand what the person was saying. Hi, Rodinei from Miami. How is everything in Miami in light of all the news? I hope you guys are doing well in Miami. Stay safe, okay? And well, going back to the problem. So you are trying to do 2 things. And as a student, it's difficult to divide your attention to the 2 activities. Listen to the English audio and translate the audio because it's so automatic that we do this and we don't even realize we are doing this, okay? So what is my advice here? What is my recommendation, okay? Let me see. Now, if you are doing this, you didn't start yesterday. This is a habit, okay? This is something that you have been developing since you started to study English. So this is a process. You developed this habit. You created this habit. So to stop doing this mental translation when you are listening to an audio in English, you need to put some work. You need to put in some work. Okay, so my advice here is gonna take some time to work because you need to change this habit, and changing habits takes discipline and takes time. Okay, so now what could you do before you start to listen an audio in English? You can take a look at the subject, okay? Read the title of the podcast, the title of the video, and then you can start thinking before you listen, okay? Before you listen, try to think of possible pieces of information you are going to listen. What possible things you are going to listen to in this audio? That is a good way to help you prepare for this audio, okay? It doesn't mean you are going to stop translating right away. As I said, this is a habit. Now you have to change this habit, okay? So this is a preparation. You saw the title, the subject of the audio. So you start thinking about what you could possibly listen to during this audio, during this video, during this podcast. Then you can start playing the audio, all right? And here, as you listen, as you start listening to the audio, try not to translate. And every time you think about translating, stop yourself. You know, stop. No. And then you can tell yourself, no, I don't translate. Okay, let's try to stay in English. One thing you can try to do is, if you don't understand the sentence, try to repeat what you listened. Okay, so you listened to a phrase you didn't understand. You are going to start trying to translate. Don't do that. Repeat the phrase. Repeat the phrase in English. It's better than trying to translate the phrase mentally. Pedro probably joined now. I'm talking about 3 mistakes we make when we are working on our listening skills. Okay, so the first tip, the first mistake, not a tip, the first mistake I'm mentioning here is the necessity of mental translation and how we translate when we are listening. You are listening and trying to translate at the same time, and consequently you divide your attention. You don't focus on the listening and you don't focus completely on the translation, and consequently when the audio is over, you feel like you didn't understand everything, you feel like you were lost, and this causes a lot of frustration, okay? Let me get some water. Now, let's see. Oh, you're welcome. You got it. Hi, Sander. Hi, Philippe. I think your name's Philippe. So, by doing this exercise, instead of translating, try to repeat the sentences and try to tell yourself not to do it. Every time you catch yourself trying to translate, stop and remind yourself not to do it. You will still miss a lot of words. You will not understand everything. You will still have problems to understand because it's a process. But only by trying to do this, by trying to remind yourself the necessity of paying attention, to dedicate all your focus to the listening, is a simple exercise but very effective, a very effective exercise. And in the long run, you will be able to eliminate these bad habits, because the truth is, this first problem is a habit. It's a bad habit we develop. And to eliminate this habit, you have to create a new good one. So for example, there's no problem repeating the audio, okay? So repeat the audio and repeat the sentences. Try to speak the sentences. And when you try to translate them, remember, don't translate. Repeat and repeat the sentences, even if you have to. So this is the first problem that I observe in my students when they are listening to a difficult audio, when they are listening to a podcast. Hello, Aymano, how are you? So this is a very common mistake when we are developing our skills. We want to understand in our language, and that's not how it works. You have to work on this to develop your skills to understand in English. If you try to understand in your language, your listening skills will not improve as much as it can, okay? Very well. So does this happen to you? Let me know here in the chat. When you are listening to an audio in English, do you try to translate them mentally? How does it work with you? I remember when I was a student in the beginning, I had this problem. I tried to translate things, but then I realized that when I focused my attention to the translating, I forgot about the listening, and I didn't understand a lot of things because I was focusing too much of my energy and time and attention to the translation. So how about you? Do you have this problem sometimes? Let me know here in the chat, and if you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments, okay? And if you guys are enjoying this video, you can share. Click like, okay? Give it a thumbs up and share with your friends on your social media to invite more people to join this live video that happens every week, okay? So I saw some comments here. Antonio says that this happens to him all the time. So pay attention in this video, okay, Antonio? You will have some 3 good ideas to help you get started, to fix this, okay? Hi, Rodrigo from Rio. How are you? So keep letting me know here in the chat if this happens to you and how you are trying to change that, because I would love to know, how are you trying to change this habit? Because if you follow my videos, you probably know that translation is something that can stop you from learning. So you are probably trying to change that, right? Very good. Let's see, I saw some more comments. These comments, they come so fast. They pop up so fast. Very good. Well, let's see. Moving on, all right? The second mistake. Pedro is saying that he had this problem when he started. Nowadays, he doesn't translate. He's trying to think in English. That's great, Pedro. Very good. Moises is saying that he believes that it's normal to translate in the beginning. I agree with you, Moises. The problem is when we keep translating, when we are not beginners anymore and we still have the habit of thinking in our native language, of translating everything we see. And I know many people who still have this need to translate everything. Okay, so this is something we really needed to pay attention to. Okay, Chandra is asking where I am from. I'm from Brazil, okay? Very well. The second mistake, which is very common, I sometimes make this mistake, okay? The second mistake is when you expect to understand 100% of the conversation. You demand to understand. You feel bad if you don't understand everything. You feel this internal obligation to understand all the words, to understand all the phrases. And let me tell you one thing, guys. This is very unrealistic, okay? Because the truth is, even native speakers don't understand 100% of the words that they listen to in lectures or in videos or in podcasts, okay? Because, and why not? Because our mind is always working, and sometimes we are paying attention, but the way the speaker pronounced the word was a little bit confusing, or the quality of the audio was not so good, or there was a special effect in the background, or there was some music, and consequently you don't understand a few words, a few phrases, and it's okay, it's normal. If this happens to you, it's not wrong, okay? So this is the thing that happens to your brain. You don't understand exactly 100%. All right, so Rodrigo is saying that he gets very frustrated when he doesn't get 100%. Don't feel this way, because we don't. And if you demand that from yourself too much, you are stopping yourself from improving, because you are being extremely negative about your results. And these results that you are looking for are unrealistic. And if you feel negative all the time about not understanding, if you feel frustrated and about not understanding, you are not improving as much as you can, okay? Now, what do you need to do? You need to be able to understand 60 to 80% of the conversation. This would be important. I think at the end of a video, at the end of a podcast, you should have the feeling that you understood the general concept of the video, the general ideas, the general pieces of information. And then if you feel, oh, okay, I understood the main ideas, but I still need to understand more. When you are studying, you can repeat. And that's the power of repetition. Repetition is king. I love repetition. And I don't feel ashamed if I have to repeat audios or podcasts, because I know that's how I will achieve a better listening. Okay? And many students feel frustrated if they have to watch again, if they have to listen again, if they have to repeat. Okay? Now, there is a difference. One thing I like to say to my students, there is a difference when you are trying to understand general information and when you are trying to understand details, specific information. And what can you do about that? There are techniques, and I am making videos about this. There are techniques you can develop for these two situations because they are different situations. You have to prepare yourself for when you are trying to listen to specific information, details, specific stuff, and when you are trying to listen to general. The general listening comprehension is is easier to do, okay, while the specific piece of information, when you are trying to listen to specific information, is a bit more difficult. That's why you need to develop specific techniques to do that. Now, you may be wondering, but Priscilla, my problem is when I am talking to people, when I am having a conversation and I don't understand everything the person said. So what do I do in the situation? Guys, there is no shame to ask the person to repeat. Now, you need to wait for the right occasion, for the right moment to stop someone. Okay, so maybe if you were in a part of the conversation, the person is almost finishing the phrase or the sentence, you can wait and then you can ask the person to explain again in a different way. And there's no shame in that, because that way you are going to improve your listening skills. I have done this in meetings. I have done this in presentations, because if I didn't understand the person, I didn't understand the message. Now, this is a way for you to practice. And when you don't understand the person that you were listening to, think about what situations you couldn't understand, what kind of subjects you couldn't understand. And that is a good way for you to think about materials and subjects you can study at home. Because the truth is, you are going to prepare yourself to conversations, to real life conversations, when you practice at home, okay? So I saw someone saying that this person forgets, I don't know who it is, but it forgets the verb conjugations when they're talking. The best way to remember verbs is to study verbs. Now, I could easily say, oh, just do a grammar exercise. That's not gonna work, okay? You have to think about situations that happen to you. So think about your day, think about all the activities you did, think about the situation when you felt uncomfortable, okay? Talking to, and the verbs you usually forget. That is a good way to start improving this, okay? There's no shortcut, but this is the way to do that better. I have many students, and I notice that all my students, they start with this problem, but as I keep insisting on the verbs and insisting on specific subjects, they start to remember, because repetition will help you do that. So if my students have problems to talk about simple past situations and consequently verbs in the past, all I do is bring a lot of subjects that we can talk about and use simple past. That way they start to remember, and at some point they even correct themselves. Okay? Very nice. Hi Dan, how are you? I need to send you an email. Remember my YouTube stuff problem? It's working. And I'm so happy about that, actually. Thanks for your support. Actually, you were so helpful to me. And I saw that you guys sent some messages. Let's see. I started this live video at 8:30 p.m. São Paulo, Brazil time. Okay, so you need to check where you are from and see the time zone difference, okay? So that's the best way to do that. Now, how about you guys? I gave you the second mistake. I told you that we worry too much about understanding 100%. I saw that some of you guys told me here in the chat that you do that. So if you also do that, let me know here in the chat if you are too worried about understanding 100% of everything you listen to. So let me know in the chat, okay? Now, the last mistake. Oh no, I have something to say before I go to mistake number 3. See, that's why I need to look at my notes, because this mind here is not good. I forget things. That's why I need to repeat things to myself, because if you know, when I'm making the live videos, before I start making the live videos, I read everything that I wrote down, you know, my tips, my suggestions, because I may forget things. I may forget valuable information that I wanted to give you guys. So practice is important for everybody, no matter what you do, no matter what your level is, okay? Nice. What I wanted to highlight here is that the suggestions I'm giving you here, they may seem very simple, very easy to do, but if you have the discipline to follow these ideas, to really pay attention to when you are translating things and correct yourself from this habit, to really try to repeat more the audios and think more about the situations you are having trouble with, you will improve. You will notice improvement, because this is something that I have applied with my students, that I have applied with myself. And the key, the secret to all of this improvement is discipline, is really sitting down and paying attention, watching it again and repeating and applying these ideas, because you will improve. But it takes time. I'm not going to lie to you and say, no, in 3 months you can do it. Come on. No, it takes time. Okay? And whenever you have an opportunity to talk to a native speaker and you don't understand everything they say, don't feel frustrated. Okay? Don't feel guilty or bad about it, because this is reality. This is life. Sometimes you are talking to someone that has a very strong accent, a very difficult accent, depending on where this person is from, and consequently you can't understand everything they say. So it's natural. It's learning how to deal with situations and how to take the best of it, how to learn from these opportunities, from these lessons, is going to determine how much you're going to improve. Okay? Nice. My last mistake, okay, and this mistake is also very connected with feelings, with emotions, okay? Mauricio is saying that he needed to have dinner. Oh, he almost lost the video stream, so I'm glad you joined us. Thanks. Very well. So the third mistake is related to emotions, all right? And what is the difference here? Because in the first, in mistake number 2, I talked about our expectation to understand 100%. But here is a different problem. We worry. We are talking or we are listening to a video or an audio, and we worry about what we didn't understand. We are still listening, we are still doing the exercise, or we are still in the middle of the conversation, listening, but our mind is in the past. We are focusing on the words, we are focusing on the phrases we could not understand. And what happens? Again, I'm slipping off my chair. Again, you are dividing your attention between the present, what you are listening to now, and what you couldn't listen before. And this is another big problem, because as I said in number 2, if you do that, you are not focusing on the present, and consequently you will not understand, because you are not paying attention. Your mind is worried about the previous phrases, about the sentences you didn't understand. And what happens? You get lost. And this happens to me sometimes not because I was worrying about what I didn't understand, but because I started thinking about a different subject, and consequently I lost the focus. It's a very similar situation, but in this case you didn't lose your focus because you were thinking about the trees, about the nature. You lost your focus because you were thinking about the mistakes, about the phrases you couldn't understand. And this is something that you need to work on. And my best recommendation is, I'm gonna quote Frozen, the movie, let it go. What is gone is gone, okay? You can always listen again if it's an audio. Here, Rafael is saying something. Let me listen to him. Let me read his comments if I can. He's saying, well, he speaks Portuguese. He's Brazilian. He doesn't understand some Brazilian guys who speak Portuguese. And sometimes native speakers don't understand each other. It's very common. So, see, he's sharing an experience. I sometimes don't understand Brazilian people. It's natural. So don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, so now what can you do? First I said, let it go. What's gone is gone. Focus on the present, focus on the moment, okay? But if it's an audio, if it's a podcast or a video, you can always repeat. You can play it again. Now, if you are having a conversation and hi Jaime, thanks for joining. Hi Gilmar, thanks for joining too. And if it's a conversation and you are in the middle of the conversation and you are completely lost, you really need to stop the conversation and ask the person to repeat. Yes, you are a bit late, but I'm still talking about the third mistake. Don't worry. You have to ask for the person to repeat. Okay, you really need to ask for the person to explain again in different words, but don't waste time. Okay, don't waste time feeling guilty and worrying. Take action. If you really didn't understand anything, it's better to just stop the conversation and say, I'm sorry, I lost you there. Can you say it again? I'm so sorry. Than to wait for a long time and get even more lost into the conversation. So be careful about that. Okay? Now, if you also, there's something that I always tell my students, because language is it's not just about words. Okay? Language is about emotions. So one thing that I recommend my students, and many students have this problem, is to work on your emotional intelligence. Okay? Because sometimes we get too nervous, we worry too much, we feel very insecure about the situation, and this is something we need to develop. We need to develop this as human beings, as people, but when we are studying a language, we also need to develop our emotional intelligence. We need to become more confident people. That's why I talk so much about making mistakes. It's okay, because you build your confidence. If you only pay attention to the mistakes you make, you are destroying your confidence. You are doing the opposite work, okay? So this is something that you really need to start working on. And if it's an audio, and these moments when you are practicing in a podcast or a listening exercise, this is the moment when you should repeat, when you should try it again, and pay attention to the moments that were more difficult for you, because these exercises will prepare you for real life. This is the moment that you prepare yourself for real life. So you need to work hard on these situations to make sure that you feel more confident when you actually have to listen to someone, to listen to a lecture, to listen to an important business meeting, to someone talking about something during a meeting, or when you are talking to a native speaker. Okay? So that is very, very important. All right? Good. My final advice, okay, because I still have a recommendation to make, but this recommendation is related to when you are doing the exercise, not when you are talking to people, listening to people. You are listening to a video, you are listening to a podcast, or you're doing a listening exercise, okay? So what is important here? Many students who are studying by themselves, they have a book, or they have an exercise, a listening exercise, and they start doing the listening exercise. And then they pause, okay? They pause the audio all the time. They don't understand a word, they pause, then they go back, then they pause again. They never let the audio finish. They pause. Now, do you pause conversations in real life? Most of the times you don't. You can ask someone to stop, as I said, but most of the times you can't pause the person all the time. Hey, pause, repeat. Oh, okay, continue. Pause. Oh, okay, I got it now. Continue. Pause. Oh, repeat. Pause, repeat. You don't do this in real life. So you should not do this when you are doing a listening exercise. Play all the audio. Take notes. Now, you finished. You didn't understand. Play it again. But don't keep pausing in between. Let it finish first. Get the main ideas. Work on understanding the real flow of the audio, the real flow of the conversation. And then after you finish the audio, listen again if you need to. That's how you work on your listening. And this is the problem that students have, because they prepare themselves at home by pausing all the time, every time they have a problem. But in real life, they don't do that. In real life, you can't pause all the time. There's no pause button. Okay? So if you start practicing this at home by letting the audio repeat, finish, and then you go back and listen again, take notes. Okay? This is the best way to use listening exercises at home. And that's how you are really going to improve. Okay? Very well, let's see. I really want to speak more confidently, but I feel nervous. Yes, I see what you mean, Daniel. I think we all feel a little nervous when we have to talk to someone. And it's something that we really needed to develop, okay? And to work on. I don't know if you're saying that you were going to give up. I don't know exactly what you mean by saying to give up. But if it's about English, don't. Because you are always going to have these bumps on the way, okay? These rocks in the road, these bumps in the way. You're always going to face them. There's always going to be a moment when you don't understand everything or when you misunderstand someone, okay? But you have to keep going. You can't just quit. All right. Lydian is saying she had a problem in the US because people speak very fast. I understand that people speak fast, but it's all about getting used to the way they speak, okay? And movies and TV series, they are wonderful ways to help you do that, okay? It's something you get used to. And depending on where you are, people speak faster because it's part of who they are. It's part of their identity. So there are many things we need to analyze, and sometimes it's not only because they speak fast. It's a combination of things. It's vocabulary. It's the specific situations that you were not prepared for. So it's very specific. It's something I talk to my students about. Sometimes when we don't understand people, we are very general. And we say, my name is Priscilla Eder, but I have this nickname in Brazil. My friends call me Prix, okay? But in English, it would be Prix or Prix. So this is but my real name is Priscilla. You can all call me Priscilla, okay? Or Prix. I like both, and Prix is my nickname. And so one thing, as I was saying, the students, they have this problem because they're so general when they don't understand people in English, native speakers. And the first thing they say is they speak very fast. This is the first reason. Many students say, many people who study English say, oh, they speak too fast. And sometimes this is one of the reasons, but not the main reason. Sometimes it's a combination of things. Sometimes you do not have a good knowledge of English grammar structures, important structures that are used in conversations. Sometimes you don't have a good knowledge of expressions, idioms. Native speakers use idioms, expressions all the time. They use phrasal verbs all the time. And if you don't know if you don't know this vocabulary, you will not understand. And not because they speak fast, but because you don't have this vocabulary. Okay? So this is something we need to analyze when we are listening to native speakers. But they do speak fast, depending on where you are. There's the accent, depending on where you go, either in America or in the United States or in other countries. Okay? Good. Wallison is saying that when he's listening to an audio in English, he tries to write. That's what you mean, right? You try to write a transcript, or you try to transcribe what you could understand. That's a good thing to do. That's very nice. So guys, this is it, okay? I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. We had many people tonight. That's so cool. I'm so happy. I feel really happy when I make the live videos. I'm very excited. As I told you in the beginning, I'm going on vacation. For the next 3 weeks, I will not make live videos because I'll be gone. traveling, enjoying life, okay? But you will have the weekly videos, okay? I will post videos, but not the live, all right? Other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, an amazing weekend. And for the live video, I will see you in October. But for the normal videos, don't forget to come back, okay? Because I'm posting videos next week. So watch my videos, click like, and share. All right, my friends? So thank you all very much, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.